Hi guys, my own name is Joe. I'm here with Leona, and Paul just asked us to do a bit of a video there for the new interns that might be coming in next year, just kind of about our experiences with Fortune Favours and why it would be a good place to work for. So I suppose initially the reason we kind of applied for the job is just kind of description of what it would be about. Obviously you're kind of going to be learning modules over the next couple of months before you start placement in January. And so description kind of just describes someone as being a self-motivated kind of starter-upper, involved in social media and content marketing, and just kind of getting involved in a startup at a kind of grassroots level and getting properly involved. I suppose personally part of the reason I applied for this job as opposed to say the likes of say Apple or kind of Dell or any of those kind of bigger companies, it's just as the fact that I kind of consider that you'd be kind of, as good as it would be to get experience in those places, you would just be one of 50 or 100 inside there. Whereas with a startup company like FortuneFavours, you're properly involved in kind of decision making, and your decisions being taken on board and being implemented by Paul. So it was just the three of us here for the placement initially, and we actually both decided to stay on for the summer until college started again. So I suppose that's a good indicator of what it was like to work here, that we enjoyed it so much we did want to stay on. So I suppose to give you a better idea of what the company's about or where it started, I'll just pass it over to Leona.
Yeah, so Paul started with J1.com, so an accommodation company in America, because he just had a bad experience himself with accommodation and everything, and when he came back he just saw that there was a gap in the market. So he initially has J1.com, which future interns out next year you'll be working alongside that as well, with the hope of all that going ahead. So when COVID hit, he saw another gap in the market for another company, so we started off FortuneFavours, and he just been started off. When we started here, there was only dumbbells was the only thing we had, and we have about 15 different products now, and it's just really grown since there. So he really did find two amazing gaps in the market for that.
And it's also kind of like an industry I was interested in getting in as well. I'd be a big kind of sporty person myself, so it was a kind of good industry to get into that. If you have an interest in it, it's easier to work in as well. So yeah, I suppose again, just kind of go into maybe what's it like to work here on like a more daily basis. Obviously we'll go into kind of bigger tasks and the kind of bigger picture of stuff, but just on a daily basis, the kind of stuff that you will be doing is things like obviously like order processing. So there'll be orders coming through online or even over the phone or in person, whatever it might be, on a daily basis. So you can be dealing with customers face to face, over the phone, communicating online through email or whatever it might be, and just processing those orders and making sure they're going out in the evenings. We try and kind of do things as efficient as possible to try and, I suppose, make us stand out compared to other companies. Like the quicker and more efficient you can be, you can see it in some of the reviews coming through from customers, and that is a big plus point for themselves. So that would be a big thing. Obviously dealing with kind of customers on the negative side, if you want to put it that way, in terms of like if they have issues or complaints and things like that. Again, it could be through email, it could be through social media, or they could even call over the phone. And it's just kind of owning up to those things and answering in a kind of more prompt and professional manner. The fact that we are a startup company and the fact that there is a lot of startup companies out there at the moment, most customers are kind of aware of that, and they're happy. They're not happy, but they'll acknowledge that and take that under consideration. So if you're just upfront with them and deal with them, whatever the issue might be, and resolve it for them, they're happy that way. Kind of even more basic things is like, obviously we have a bit of a warehouse here up in Blackpool, so just on a daily basis you're putting kind of products out the front just to showcase what we have on offer and to kind of draw people in and things like that. So there's some just kind of daily tasks. As I said, we do other things on a weekly and monthly basis as well that are probably a bit more interesting, but they're just kind of stuff you would be doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, and some of the bigger tasks then that we've been given, like between us both together and different and separately, when we started we wanted to have a website, and initially we were just getting someone else to do it. And then we were researching into like Shopify and stuff, and found that it actually wasn't the hardest to do once you did a bit of research and watch videos. So we actually created the whole Fortune Favours website ourselves, so did the whole design, the layout, which is just such a benefit now, because if we ever want to change any products or anything, we know exactly how to do it, and we're not going back to a web designer and doing all that stuff. So that was a big plus, because neither of us had a clue how to do web design.
Future reference, like when we go out into the real world per se, like if you've any interview that going to ask you a tough question like that, that's a perfect example of how we dealt with something we didn't know how to do.
Didn't have a clue how to do.
Like, so,
we were literally spending hours watching YouTube videos, and
exactly.
even still we're finding different parts of the website and like figuring out how to use them. And also we redesigned the logo, so we came up with a new logo. Yeah, exactly. But we had a logo design be made up first, and we got sent so many. And at the end of the day, like we just kept coming back to this one, and that's why we stuck with this one.
And again, that kind of comes back to what I was saying earlier about having actual input into everything about
everything
the business.
came
Like,
past us, like
Paul
nothing.
kind of listened to what we had to say and took our advice on board that way as well.
And then more like bigger tasks. So like we said we were gonna, when we started back in, was it January? Come March, he said that he wanted to go into more like water sports side for summer. So now like we have the kayaks and supboards and stuff, but back then he wanted to get into dry robes. So just one day he was literally just like, Leona, create a dry robe, and there wasn't even a roadmap. It was just do whatever you want, create whatever colour design, and just show me them. So I actually created a whole dry robe, the material, the colours, the fleece, the design, everything from scratch. And I couldn't believe it. Like, that was a product that's going to be in the shop. Like, so we have all that created, and that's actually fully made now and ready just to start to be mass produced and then be brought over to us as well. And like, even when you created the workout plan that we have. Yeah,
exactly. So like, again, it's just kind of, Paul having the trust in us to kind of take on the initiative to do the product in our projects in the way we wanted to do it. Maybe a bit of editing after or whatever it might be, but as I said, just having the trust in us to do it. So I created a kind of fitness program with like a diet and kind of workout programs, created it all on Canvas. Gonna have to get good at Canva, guys. That's just a necessity. Just kind of sum up, again, go over a bit of what we've done and just in general about working here. Like, Paul's obviously a great guy to work for, as we've mentioned already. Kind of takes in advice on what we offer, listens to it, implements us, trusts us with projects to do, and created a great team environment here. As mentioned, it is just the three of us, and from my point of view anyway, it was a great place to work for. I suppose in a more practical sense, like what you learn in college in terms of the modules, especially in this year coming, and as well as second year and first year, you will be able to implement that. I suppose the best example of that is probably the content creation. And
like from the start when we were coming into it, like, and he was like, look, I want to get my Instagram up and running. So we were just kind of creating content, but it was at the start we were kind of doing it like every day. We were just trying to think of a post to do every day. And then we realised that that was just taking more time than it needed to. So then we started just saying, if we created all on Monday and we scheduled it for the whole week, we had all our content done and dusted for the week, and then anything additional was just a bonus to have more stuff to post. And even at that, like, he never gave us, there was never like a little box of what we had to do. It was any idea we came up with.
And then you start learning kind of things that work on a weekly basis. So like we have a weekly kind of live workout, did like a Sunday shout out where we kind of mentioned other local companies and things like that. So
we have the TikTok Tuesday where we reel every week and they go so well. We just found what really worked, really.
Exactly. And then on the other side of things is kind of stuff that you maybe won't learn in college, that kind of, again, come back to that term, real world work, like things like multitasking and organizational skills. Again, was really implemented here as well. So stuff like kind of getting signage organized. We did things like teardrop signs for outside the building. We did a pop-up shop down the Marina Market, so we had to get a branded gazebo made for that and get that all set up, and worked a couple of days down there as well. So all those kind of things just made it a great place to work for. I highly recommend it. Both from Paul personally, and then as I said, the job itself, it's a fantastic place to
it's just been the great, like the last 8-9 months have just been honestly, we can't believe that we've done placement and we've been working with them, and we've honestly just loved every day working here. There's never been a day that we came in dreading it. Like we're all just in here laughing, get work done, and the
tough act to follow now, guys. We've done a lot of work, but again, highly recommend the guys, and definitely push you to apply for it.
Definitely.
So best of luck.